Have you ever felt your legs just give up on you, like they're not as strong as they used to be? Maybe you're finding it harder to get up from a chair, or you're waking up in the middle of the night with painful leg cramps that make you wince. It's a tough spot to be in, isn't it? I know how much you want to keep moving, to enjoy a walk in the park or play with your grandkids without feeling like your legs are holding you back. But here's something that might surprise you. Those daily vitamins you're taking to stay healthy could be the reason your legs are feeling weaker. I've spent years working with folks just like you, middle-aged and seniors across the United States and Canada, helping them feel strong and steady as they age. And what I've learned is that some supplements can quietly weaken your legs, making it harder to walk, balance, or even stand for long. It's not just about getting older, it's about what you're putting into your body. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 common vitamins that might be doing more harm than good to your leg strength, especially if you're over 50. I'll walk you through each one, share some stories from people I've helped, and give you simple, natural ways to keep your legs strong and ready for anything. Let's start with the first one that might catch you off guard: calcium supplements. I bet you've heard it 1,000 times. Take your calcium to keep your bones strong. It's something we've all been told by doctors, friends, even those commercials on TV that make it sound like calcium is the magic key to aging well. And I totally get why you'd think that. Nobody wants brittle bones as they get older. But here's the thing I've seen over and over again. Too much calcium, especially from supplements, can actually work against you, especially when it comes to your legs. I remember a sweet lady named Linda who I met at a community center in Ohio a few years back. She was in her late 60s and she'd been taking calcium pills every single day because she was so worried about her bones breaking. She thought she was doing the right thing, but a few months later, she came to me with a problem. She said her legs felt heavier than ever, like they were dragging her down every time she tried to climb the stairs to her bedroom. She even started getting these awful calf cramps at night, waking her up in a sweat. At first, she thought it was just part of getting older, or maybe she wasn't drinking enough water. But the real issue was her calcium supplements. You see, calcium is important for your muscles. It helps them contract and move, but it needs to work in balance with another mineral called magnesium, which helps your muscles relax. When you take too much calcium without enough magnesium, that balance gets thrown off. Your muscles can start to feel stiff, sluggish, and even cramp up more often. For Linda, that meant getting up from her favorite armchair became a real struggle, and even a short walk to her mailbox left her legs feeling tired and achy. But it doesn't stop there. Too much calcium can also build up in your blood vessels, a condition called arterial calcification. That blocks the flow of oxygen and nutrients to your leg muscles, leaving them weak and fatigued. So if your legs feel like they just won't cooperate or they tire out faster than they used to, those calcium pills might be the sneaky culprit behind it all. Now let's talk about another supplement that might catch you off guard: iron. I know what you're thinking. Iron is supposed to give us energy, right? We need it to carry oxygen in our blood, and if you don't have enough, you can feel tired, dizzy, or just plain worn out. A lot of folks, especially seniors, think taking iron supplements will give them a quick boost, like a shot of energy to get through the day. But here's what I've learned over the years. For most people over 50, extra iron isn't the answer. It's actually the problem. I'll never forget my neighbor Tom, who lives just down the street from me in a small town in Michigan. Tom's in his early 70s, and a while back, he started taking iron pills because he felt sluggish all the time. He thought it would perk him up, but a few weeks later, he came over to my porch looking frustrated. He said his legs felt heavier than ever, like he was walking through mud, and he was getting these strange aches after walking just a short distance to the corner store. He even noticed his legs cramping up more often, especially after a long day. The truth is, most seniors don't need extra iron unless a doctor has specifically told them they're low. In fact, too much iron can build up in your body, especially in your muscles, and cause something called oxidative stress. That's when free radicals, little troublemakers in your body, start damaging your muscle cells, leading to inflammation, soreness, and fatigue. So instead of feeling stronger, your legs might feel weaker, and you could end up with more cramps or even pain that lingers after a simple walk. On top of that, too much iron can mess with your magnesium levels, just like calcium does, making those leg cramps even worse. I've seen it happen too many times. Folks taking iron out of habit, thinking it's helping, but not realizing it's quietly sapping their energy and making every step harder than it needs to be. Let's keep going with our journey to uncover those sneaky vitamins that might be weakening your legs. We've already talked about how calcium and iron can cause more trouble than they're worth, and now it's time to look at another one that might surprise you: vitamin E. I know vitamin E sounds like a good guy. It's often praised for keeping your heart healthy, your brain sharp, and even your skin glowing. A lot of folks over 50 take it every day, thinking it's a little miracle pill to slow down aging. But here's what I've seen in my years of helping seniors. Too much vitamin E can actually throw your legs off balance, literally. I'll never forget meeting a gentleman named Harold at a senior fitness class in Florida a few years back. Harold was in his late 70s, and he'd been taking vitamin E supplements for years because he heard it was great for his heart. But he started noticing something strange. He was tripping more often, and his legs felt unsteady, like he couldn't trust them to hold him up. He even told me he felt a little dizzy sometimes when he stood up too fast. And it scared him because he didn't want to fall. The truth is, while vitamin E is important in small amounts, taking too much, especially from supplements, can upset the balance your muscles and nerves need to keep you steady. One big problem with high doses of vitamin E is that it can interfere with vitamin K, a nutrient your body needs for proper blood clotting and muscle health. When vitamin K gets out of whack, your muscles don't get the blood flow and nutrients they need to stay strong. That can lead to weakness in your legs, trouble keeping your balance, and even a higher chance of bruising if you bump into something. On top of that, too much vitamin E can thin your blood more than it should, which might sound good for your heart, but can actually make you feel lightheaded or unsteady. For Harold, that meant he was always second-guessing himself when he walked, and he stopped going on his morning strolls because he was afraid of falling. It's a shame, isn't it? A vitamin you thought was helping might be the reason you're feeling wobbly on your feet. Now let's move on to another vitamin that's often seen as a hero, but can turn into a troublemaker if you overdo it: vitamin D. You've probably heard all the good things about vitamin D. It's great for your bones, it boosts your immune system, and it helps keep your muscles strong. Doctors often tell seniors to take vitamin D supplements, especially if you don't get much sunlight. And I totally understand why you'd want to add it to your routine. But here's the catch: too much vitamin D can actually backfire and weaken your legs instead of making them stronger. I once worked with a lovely woman named Margaret who lived in a small town in Ontario, Canada. Margaret was in her early 60s, and she started taking high doses of vitamin D because she read somewhere that it would help her bones and muscles as she aged. At first, she felt fine, but after a few months, she came to me with a problem. She said her legs felt tight and achy all the time, and she was getting these sudden cramps that made it hard to walk. She even told me she felt so tired after doing simple things like walking to her garden that she had to sit down and rest more often. The issue with too much vitamin D is that it can cause a buildup of calcium in your blood, a condition called hypercalcemia. Now, calcium is great for your bones, but when there's too much floating around in your bloodstream, it doesn't get to your bones where it's needed. Instead, it can make your muscles stiff, lead to cramps, and even cause long-term weakness in your legs. I've seen this happen to so many folks who thought they needed more vitamin D just because of their age. But the truth is, most of us already get enough from foods like salmon, eggs, or fortified milk, and even a little sunlight can help. On top of that, too much vitamin D can throw off your magnesium and potassium levels, two minerals your muscles need to relax and work properly. When those get out of balance, you might find yourself waking up with sharp leg cramps in the middle of the night or feeling an odd heaviness in your legs that makes every step harder than it should be. It's frustrating, isn't it, when the very thing you thought was helping turns out to be the reason you're struggling? We're almost at the end of our journey to uncover those vitamins that might be weakening your legs, and I'm so glad you've stuck with me this far. We've already talked about how calcium, iron, vitamin E, and vitamin D can cause unexpected trouble, and now it's time to look at the last one on our list, vitamin B6. I know vitamin B6 sounds like it should be a good thing. It's often linked to energy, brain health, and keeping your nerves in top shape. A lot of folks over 50 take it because they've heard it can help with everything from memory to metabolism, and who doesn't want a little boost in those areas as we age? But here's what I've learned from years of working with seniors. Too much vitamin B6 can actually harm your nerves and make your legs weaker, turning every step into a challenge. I once met a wonderful woman named Betty at a health fair in Seattle, and she shared a story that really stuck with me. Betty was in her mid-60s, and she'd been taking a high-dose B6 supplement for a while because she thought it would keep her mind sharp and her energy up. But over time, she started noticing something strange. Her legs felt tingly, like they were falling asleep all the time, and she couldn't feel the ground under her feet the way she used to. She even said it felt like she was walking on pillows, and it made her so unsteady that she was afraid to go down the stairs in her own home. The truth is, while a little vitamin B6 is great for turning food into energy and keeping your nerves healthy, too much of it can build up in your body over time. Unlike some vitamins that your body can flush out easily, B6 tends to stick around, and high levels can lead to a condition called sensory neuropathy. That's when the nerves that control your muscles, especially in your legs, get damaged, causing numbness, tingling, and a loss of coordination. For Betty, that meant she started tripping more often, and she even had to hold onto the walls just to get around her house. It's heartbreaking to think that a vitamin she trusted to keep her healthy was actually making it harder for her to move with confidence. So, what can you do to protect your leg strength after 50 without falling into the trap of these vitamins that weaken legs for seniors? It all comes down to being smart about what you put into your body, and I've got some simple tips that can make a big difference. First, let's think about where you're getting these nutrients. Instead of reaching for supplements right away, try to get your vitamins from whole foods whenever you can. For calcium, you can enjoy things like yogurt, leafy greens, or almonds. They give you just the right amount without overloading your system. For iron, lean meats, spinach, or beans are great choices, and pairing them with vitamin C-rich foods like oranges or bell peppers helps your body absorb what it needs without going overboard. Vitamin E is easy to find in nuts, seeds, and greens, and a little sunlight or foods like salmon and eggs can give you all the vitamin D you need. For B6, stick to natural sources like bananas, chicken, or potatoes. They'll give you the benefits without the risk of buildup. I know it can feel overwhelming to rethink your routine, but small changes like these can really transform how your legs feel. I've seen it happen so many times. Folks who thought they were stuck with weak legs found new strength just by switching to whole foods and cutting back on unnecessary pills. On top of that, staying active is just as important as what you eat. Gentle stretches, a short walk around your neighborhood, or even some light strength exercises can keep your muscles engaged and strong. It's not about doing too much, just enough to keep your legs ready for whatever you want to do, whether that's gardening, dancing, or chasing after your grandkids. I'd love to hear what you think about all this. Have you noticed any of these vitamins affecting your legs, or do you have a favorite food that keeps you feeling strong? Drop a comment below and let me know. I'm always here to chat and learn from your experiences. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to Wise Wellness Path for more tips to help you thrive as you age. Here's to stronger legs, more confidence, and living your best life at any age.